Dubai is hiding a dark set of secrets. Everyday life is most definitely not what it seems, and if you've only ever watched YouTube videos on the city, you would only be getting the very tip of a very ugly and frankly disgusting iceberg. In fact, if you, like most people, value your freedom, you probably would not want to live in Dubai. Freedom of expression, freedom to vote for your leaders, the freedom to leave the country if you're in Dubai on a work visa, and the freedom to express yourself as gay, lesbian, trans, or non-binary, these and many more everyday things we've come to expect are either criminalized or banned entirely in the United Arab Emirates and its largest city, Dubai. But if your YouTube feed is anything like mine, you've likely seen a video on Dubai pop up. Maybe you've even clicked on it, only to be shocked at the shiny glass buildings, countless luxury cars, and even solid gold brick vending machines. But Dubai has a dark side, one that we will expose here in this episode of Dark Vegas. So maybe you've checked out the Netflix series Dubai Bling.
Everyone knows you're fake as hell.
I am not done yet. I'm blessed. I need to rent cars. Relax, okay?
Babe, I bought my own car with my own money cash. I don't need my husband to buy me anything, babe.
But how can everyone in Dubai be so wealthy and so over the top and so seemingly perfect? So first up, we need to talk about all that wealth. Now, we all know Dubai to be the wealthiest nation on earth, but at over 9 million people in the UAE, how is it possible that absolutely everyone in Dubai is living the high life? Well, the sad truth is, they most likely aren't. The population of Dubai is made up of a variety of types of people, and these include imported workers and foreigners, as well as the actual Emirates that lend to the country's official name. The truth is that the wealth gap in Dubai is huge, since over 80% of the population of the nation is made up of people who are not born as Emirates, and the Emirates control most of the wealth. Most people in this nation are living a modest life at best. Workers are imported and invited to work through a visa system that's called the kafala. This is where sponsors work to import cheap labor, often giving the workers a better wage than they might receive at home, but putting them in danger of unintentionally entering what becomes an inadvertent human trafficking ring. Imported workers from places like India and the Philippines are often paid a modest salary. According to the job site Indeed.com, the average laborer earns a modest 2,600 dirham, which is just over $700 US per month. Some laborers in Dubai can earn as little as $1,700 per year. International incidents have arisen where passports of foreign workers have been held by so-called sponsors of the employees, making it essentially impossible for a person to escape a bad work environment and choose to go home voluntarily. The U.S. State Department summarized this in 2019 in a report that Dubai has a human trafficking problem and that the nation should, quote, increase the number of trafficking investigations, especially by investigating potential forced labor crimes such as passport retention, withholding of wages, labor violations, and complaints of abuse. While tragic, this brings to light another question. What about human rights in Dubai? Searching Google, you'll learn that in Dubai, according to their own law, everyone is equal. Women have the same rights as men, and although the country is predominantly Sunni Muslim, women still lack many of the freedoms that they may enjoy in the modern-day West. Women, however, have 5 times the unemployment rate of men, and the country does adhere to Sharia law. Sharia law is the same law that hardcore sects of Islam like the Taliban follow, and this mandates that women have a male guardian to be 18 years, like most Western nations. Because the country at the base level is based on Sharia, there's no law against a husband his own wife, and no laws against domestic violence as a means of discipline for a domestic disagreement. And that just covers straight women. If you were gay, lesbian, trans, or any other part of the LGBTQIA+ community, you would essentially be criminalized as a human in the UAE and Dubai. Now, if you remember, the UAE adheres to Sharia law and deems, quote, unnatural sex with another person, end quote, a penalty of 1 year imprisonment as well as a fine. Now, if you lived in any other nation, chances are you could vote out the leaders that draft and enforce these types of laws, right? In the case of the UAE, though, that's simply not an option. The nation is not a democracy. There are no general public elections, and the nation is run by an autocratic head of state. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. This one man is the head of state, the vice president, and the current prime minister, as well as the minister of defense of the UAE, all rolled into one. So there are no elections, but if you're unhappy with the current administration, you can always voice your opinions and complain either online or in the press, right? Well, not exactly. You see, unlike most democratic nations where the freedom of complaining about a government is a right, Dubai and the UAE has a very limited set of freedoms of expression. For example, anywhere else on Earth, you could watch a YouTube video like this, like the video and leave a comment, which I hope you've done on this video here. Oh, and be sure to subscribe. Simply even researching these videos and writing a script takes several hours, and we have more dark documentaries coming very soon. So what about freedom of speech in Dubai and the UAE? The nation's constitution calls for a limited form of freedom of speech, with some given to members of the press and other media. But the law strictly forbids the media from criticizing national rulers, and any speech that may encourage civil unrest, as seen by various members in the American press during the 2020 George Floyd protests, also strictly prohibited in the UAE, and sometimes even fatally enforced. In fact, printing anything in the press in Dubai deemed by the government as so-called fake news imposes criminal punishments as of 2023. So, in short, you'd better be in line with the government's political system of the UAE and other countries. So one has to wonder then, if at its core the UAE and Dubai are so hardlined against so many things, if the very people creating YouTube content would be unable to express themselves fully if they actually lived in the city and ran afoul of any of the rules and regulations, why then are there what seem to be countless YouTube videos covering the glitz and glamour of Dubai? Why is there an entire Netflix series, Dubai Bling, showcasing what seems like a Middle Eastern version of Beverly Hills, albeit with even more glitz, glamour, and fancy cars? Perhaps it's our consumer, capitalist, shiny object syndrome brains settling on living vicariously through the lives of others, without so much as an urge to actually take a critical look at the life and the real-life challenges that are faced by those that live in this autocratic state. Perhaps it's the UAE government sanctioning such shows to paint a rosier picture of the modern-day reality of living in Dubai and the UAE. So as we scroll through the feed, wishing for a better life than we have now, one filled with all the expensive toys we could ever want in order to scratch an itch for something we may be missing deep down inside on a spiritual base level. And if anything, I hope somewhere in this video there's a lesson for all of us. A lesson to be grateful that even though we may lack the most expensive objects our hearts lust for, we can still in most cases get up and complain about our leaders, marry who we'd like, post whatever we want online, and never have to worry about suffering the consequences of these simple actions that may seem trivial to us, but would mean a world of difference to so many others living in what many consider to be the most opulent and overtop nation on earth.